What up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about just some comments that the actors Alfonso Ribiero and Raven-Symone made in regards to the community. All right. And more so, I'm just going to give you kind of like my thoughts and opinions about it and just let you know what I think, right? So Alfonso feels as if the black community does not really fool with him like that. And he feels some type of a way about it. He feels like he doesn't get black support, and he feels like it's because he has a white wife. And I will say that ultimately we all have a right to support and not support who we want to. And some people were making an argument that, well, really Alfonso is referencing black women specifically, but phrasing it as like the community, the black community. And that could be true. Because people feel like, oh, well, black men wouldn't really care too much about him having a white wife. I don't think that's completely true, but all right, we can just go with that though. And then we have Raven-Symone making a comment saying like, oh, she got criticism for the black community because she chose to have a relationship and to get married to a white woman. So, like, you know, and I'm thinking like I don't really think people are that concerned about who Raven-Symone is dating at this point, in her love life. Perhaps I could be wrong, but then again, perhaps maybe Raven could be hyping it up. And folks love to blame black folks for just any and everything, and it's like, okay, be careful with that, Raven. Don't be putting like all your relationship problems and blaming it on the black community just because there may be some trouble in paradise, or was trouble in paradise at one point. And personally, I don't even see Raven and her wife really having too much chemistry with each other. I don't know. It seems like a bit of I guess of a mismatch, as far as like the chemistry ain't there from what I've seen. Maybe I'm just not getting a good glimpse of them. I don't know. It seemed like, I don't know, her wife seemed like she just there for the paycheck or something. It's like she just there for the money, right? And honestly, I feel like Raven and Chelsea from That So Raven have better chemistry than Raven and her wife. Um, and in regards to Alfonso, the black community, black people, black women, they don't owe you anything, right? And to Alfonso and to Raven, it's like, where's this energy towards white people, right? Where is this energy at? And even just, the questioning, right? Where is this coming from you directed towards white people, right? Both of you have white spouses. Good for you both, all right? Now, you need to be trying to get some benefits from having a white spouse, right? And also, do your white wives call out the white community on your behalf? Do they call out their own community on your behalf? No, they staying on code, right? Their community, they're staying on code with their community, even though they may be getting some loving from a black body and maybe getting some money from a black owned bank account. They ain't gonna be giving up their standing, or putting their standing at jeopardy and at risk in their own community to advocate for you. Has any of these white spouses came and spoken up about, say, the racism that many black people face. You know, and as a matter of fact, can even Alfonso or Raven have conversations with their respective spouses about racism? You know, real deep conversations. I don't know. Good questions though. And also, what do Raven and Alfonso really do for the black community? Not trying to be shady. Maybe they do things for the black community and I just don't know about it. But what specifically do they really do for the black community that would cause them to expect and to feel entitled to support from the black community? And I know with Raven's situation, she's not necessarily asking for support from the black community, but rather she was blaming the black community because she felt like the black community was judging her because she chose to munch on a white woman versus a black woman. And, you know, Wanda Sykes did bring up something a while ago, kind of like when she kind of like came out as being, you know, same gender loving, aka homosexual. She did come out and say like, oh, you know, she would when she was on the kind of like out and about with her white spouse. There goes that theme again. This is a reoccurring theme here, white spouses. But when Wanda Sykes was out with her white spouse, her white wife, she said that she would get like stares and comments from black women, heterosexual black women, like, oh, you couldn't have chose a sister. And to be honest, I don't feel like that is completely um like I could believe that. I don't think that that is completely outlandish because I think that black women may be saying something like that. Sometimes I'm not saying like every single black woman, but it's enough, a few at least, saying something like that. You know, when it comes to black women, they don't want to see no swirling going on at all. You know, black women are not down for the swirl. All right. They do not want to swirl until they hurl. All right. They do not want to see their favorite actor swirling it up. All right. They don't want to see their mama or their sister swirling it up. All right. They don't want to see their brother swirling it up. They don't even want the ice cream swirl. All right. So, that, of course, is an exaggeration, right? I'm exaggerating. Let me put that out there before someone gets in their feelings. But, you know, ultimately, I'm just saying that, you know, I don't think what Wanda Sykes was saying was completely outlandish, right? Was completely far-fetched. Right? And that's all. I know there's black women who swirl, you know, and who are down with swirl and who, you know, explore their options. And that's great. That's wonderful. That's all right. That's cool. All right. Everyone else is doing it, so you might as well do it too. I'm just saying. But back to this, though. But yeah, what do these folks really do for the black community, though? I don't really think they do too much for the black community. I mean, at one point, Raven was trying to like extremely distance herself from the black community, or I guess perhaps she's going to put it like the African American identity, right? When she was on Oprah saying, well, she was in an interview with Oprah saying that she's an American. She's not African American. She's an American. She felt like I don't know. I got the vibe that she felt like she just said the most profound thing. Like, no, you didn't, Raven. But yeah, I guess it's just something to think about. I guess one more thing I can talk about before I end this video is Alfonso and his character Carlton Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? And I'll just say that all in all, there's nothing wrong with being a quote-unquote Carlton Banks, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think that it's anti-black to be a Carlton Banks, or that it's Eurocentric to be a Carlton Banks. Well, I guess maybe you can argue perhaps Eurocentric, maybe. Um, but ultimately, I don't really think it's really extremely problematic to be a Carlton Banks, right? And I say this because perhaps on some level, I think that some black men may be able to identify with a Carlton Banks. Again, at least on some level, right? And again, I don't think that being corny is anti-black, right? But sometimes I think that we may perhaps equate people not fitting into like the black box as being like people not fitting into these standard idea of what blackness is defined by black people. You know, people thinking that maybe like it's somehow less black, right? Like, oh, just be like you don't fit into this box, so that because of that you're not black or you're not as black, right? And long story short, I just wanted to put out there that I don't think there's anything wrong with being a Carlton Banks. You know, and as well on the show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I think for the most part, I think that Carlton Banks always showed interest in black women. Um, he wanted to join a black fraternity. Um, you know, he could be a bit aloof to maybe black issues that affected black people. I think that's partially because of his socioeconomic status that he was um, granted by his parents. And as well, perhaps not, you know, people do equate blackness with like struggle at times, and you know, that's not a good thing, but people do make those associations where it's like, oh, well, you know, you come from a lower class and your struggle and you're black, so like, oh, you definitely black, right? And we've seen this before with like Mike Gavoyevich or something like that. Oh, like Obama ain't black, I'm black because, oh, you know, he went through more of a struggle seemingly than Obama did, right? um, and that's something I can think about the top of my head. But like, you know, people equating like, you know, poverty, struggle, lower socioeconomic standing with being like black. Oh, that's blackness, right? You know, and people who are a higher economic stat have a higher economic status sometimes are treated as if, you know, they have more of a distance from blackness because of the way that we view what is black, right? And some people can argue, well, they have a distance from blackness because perhaps they just don't experience um, other people's black experience because of their socioeconomic status, creating a shield and a bubble around them so that some of the things that black folks go through, perhaps, they don't experience. So that's the argument, perhaps. um, but I just wanted to put that out there. That was a bit of a ramble, but I just wanted to throw that out there and just let you know what I think about that. But in regards to Alfonso, I'm not sure if he really seems to act in any projects that are kind of like marketed towards a black audience. And then, well, maybe he's not like given the opportunity to do that. I don't know, but I don't really see him in any like projects that are marketed towards black people specifically, right? And as well, I'm not sure how Alfonso really feels about black people generally, right? maybe he could think black people are just awesome, but sometimes, you know, some of these folks do be having anti-black sentiments. They're black themselves and have anti-black sentiments, but then expect black people to support them. You know? So hopefully him and Raven ain't one of those, right? But um, in regards to Raven, I feel like she could have just kept that to herself. I don't think she really should have put that out there like that. Um, just because, well, for one, like, black people definitely support you, Raven-Symone, and your bank account wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for black people supporting you. Like, don't get it confused, don't get it messed up. Just because you see a white man signing off on that check, don't mean that, oh, it was because of him. No, it's because of your connection to the black community and having black folks supporting you, right? And also, Alfonso, like, your most notable role is from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was, you know, quote unquote, a black show, right? A show marketed towards black people. Yeah, other groups of people enjoyed the show too, I'm sure. But again, your most notable role comes from that, right? So again, just be real careful about how you're phrasing these comments that you're making, you know. But I'm going to bring this video to a close. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.